Howdy folks, going to have another clean water programming video today. We're going to do if you got a greensand filter or a Pro-Ox filter with a chlorine side tank. You have an iron filter with a side tank application is basically what we're looking at. When we plug the valve in, first thing it's going to do is show you a software revision number. That'll change depending on what valve you have. And then it's going to flash back and forth between a set number of days, that's the number of days between backwashes, and the clock time. First thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and set our clock time and the number of days between regenerations. We're going to press the upper button, menu enter. We're going to press and hold it and then release it. The whole clock time will flash. Let's say it's 3:15 p.m. right now, so we're going to hit the set change button. The ones place digital start flashing, and then we can keep hitting the set change button again because it's changing and setting the value. We got that one at a 5. Menu enter. That advances us over to the tens place. We're going to go around the horn to get it back to the 1 for 3:15. Menu enter gets us over to the hours. Now we're at 3:15. It's all blinking. We know we got the time set. Hit the menu enter button. Now we got to choose AM or PM. Let's say it's afternoon, so we're on PM. And so now we're at A04. This is the number of days between a backwash. Depending on what size system you have and how much iron you have in the water and a couple of different things is how you're going to determine to set this. In general, all the 1 cubic foot, 1.5 cubic foot, 2 cubic foot sizes, you're probably going to set for 3 or 4 days. That's why the default is 4 days. I'll go ahead and show you. You poke it and then keep poking. Got to go all the way around the horn to get back to 3. So now I've set it to backwash every 3 days. So it's going to be every 3 or 4 days. And so then you poke it again. So now we've got the correct clock time set, and we've decided we're going to backwash it every 3 days. Now we need to enter into the main master programming to set the cycle step values. And so how we get there is by pressing and holding both buttons at the same time for about 5 seconds. First thing it's going to pop up is a lowercase r and 2a. So right now it's going to regenerate at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a great time for it to do so unless you already have another valve doing it, and then make this valve backwash at a different time so they don't, on the nights that they both line up, backwash at the same time. We'll leave it at 2 a.m. We have our first cycle step is the backwash, 10 minutes. That's the default value, which also is the value that we want, so we don't need to change this one. The second one is when it's sucking in from the side tank, when it's sucking in. If you're using potassium permanganate, you're going to, for a pot perm, for greensand, you're going to leave it at the default value of 60. If you're using it for a chlorine side tank application on a Pro-Ox filter, you're going to reduce it down to 30 minutes. And there we have our 30 minutes if it was a Pro-Ox side tank. And so remember, 60 minutes on cycle step 2 for greensand, 30 minutes for Pro-Ox. Cycle step 3, as I said, the other steps are the same for both valves. Step 3 is going to be for 6 minutes. You may, on a greensand, even on a Pro-Ox, you may end up adjusting it up a little bit, but 6 is the starter setting. That's for the rapid rinse. Then we're doing a cycle step 4. For a greensand system, the number of minutes returned is going to be according to a chart, and the chart is in the install guide, so refer to the chart to set it. For a Pro-Ox system, we just want some water to get returned so we can manually add our Clorox. 6 minutes will return about 3 gallons. I generally don't think you need quite 3 gallons, so I usually go around the horn once, and I put it at 5, which is going to return about 2.5 gallons. And so then we've got cycle step 4 at number 5 minutes. The next is Bluetooth settings, where the valves aren't quite ready for the end user to start Bluetooth downloading the Android app, but it will be soon. It's also a setting that is commonly used by dealers that are renting the equipment, so it's nothing you have to concern yourself with right now too much. And you'll go once, menu enter, twice is another Bluetooth thing, and it will flash 1, 2, 3, 4. The third and last time will bring you back to the clock time. Now, to start an immediate regeneration, you're at 3 days, you press and hold the set change button. After several seconds, the 3 will change to a 1. Let go, and when you press the button again, now it's going to start after a little bit. And there it goes. It's going to cycle step 1. And this tells you it isn't in place yet. It's moving there. Now it's in place. Now when you're doing the backwashes, especially on the Pro-Ox, there's a lot of, especially on the initial backwash, to advance from, once it's gotten to where it's showing you the minutes, then you can hit the button again. And it'll start going to the next cycle. And you can't hit the button to advance it to the next one until it's stopped doing the little thing there. Now it's at the cycle step 2. Now you can hit it. So you can advance through the cycle steps when you need to, and you can follow along with the guide instructions for times that you may need to, as far as that goes. That is how you started a manual regeneration, is you press the set change button for several seconds, and then if the number you're at changes to a 1, and then hold it again, it starts it. And then to advance through the cycle steps, we've just gone through 1, 2, 3, it's almost at 4. It's going to get to 4. I'm going to hit it again. It'll say 0. That's service position. That's the 5th position on the valve, is the or the 1st position, depending on how you look at it. And this one's a long one to go around. There we go. We're at 4. Now it's going to return to home or service position. 0. And it's going to get back, and then I can show you the one last thing. When you hit the menu enter button and hold it for 5 seconds, it puts you into a diagnostic programming. There's a couple that are useful to a fair amount. Most of them are more for the techs if something's wrong with the valve. The first one you get is flow. It's going back and forth between 4 zeros and flow. That'll tell you whole gallons, tenths, and hundredths of gallons of water flowing through the system. Now, this does not feature, is not going to work on a valve that does not have a flow meter. The valve I have here does not have a flow meter, so none of these diagnostics are really valid because the valve doesn't have a way of measuring the flow. It will tell you the gallons total if you had one, and it will tell you the number of regenerations that the unit has done, and but basically all these other settings are diagnostic settings for the techs. So if you get in there, accidentally by holding the button, the top button, for too long, just keep hitting the menu enter button until you get back to the clock time. Conversely, you can just leave the valve alone, and after 60 seconds it'll exit the programming and go back as well. And that's it. Thanks, folks.